Yeah, that's real life. What's happening? Coffee and Kush TV. Welcome to real life. What's happening? All right. Y'all quit calling me in my pastime. Quit calling me. Who the hell is B? Get up out of here. Something wrong with you. Something you got a problem or something. You little females, you little demon possessed females, y'all better go somewhere else and play. We over here talking about some knowledge and wisdom. You don't understand? Well, go somewhere else, Satan. Now ain't nothing I can do with you. Ain't nothing else I can do with you. I'm finding out a lot of y'all is just mixed up in your own brain, and I can't help you. Y'all serving too many gods for me to help. Don't be calling me, asking me, you with Allah and asking me some biblical question. Go over there. Go over there, woman. Go. Y'all need to go somewhere. Y'all really got issues. I'm finding out a lot of y'all got real bad motherfucking daddy problems. Mental daddy problems, nigga. Hell no. Think I don't mess with y'all right now to this day? Hell no. Y'all got mental problems. You feel me? Coffee and Kush TV. What if on another great night, hit that like button as y'all make your way in here. I came on to see if it's worth my time tonight. If it's not, then I'll get up in the morning and do my thing. I have no problem. I'm only supposed to be up here one time a day. And then if there's no real interaction on this page, I don't really like coming up here anyways. Coffee and Kush KRU Radio Sports, hashtag 54 Sports will be up tomorrow morning. So if y'all don't hit the like button and subscribe and do what y'all gotta do, that's cool. I'm not tripping. I got a whole nother page I gotta focus on and not really buying into the fake shit no more. So hit that like button and subscribe. It's been a long year. It's been a long 2020. A lot of manipulation, a lot of this backdoor shit, and we here. You know, a lot of information coming across this page about Egypt being in America, America being Egypt, the Holy Land being here, Africa, whatever, all these attributes y'all give to Africa is really right here. Shout out to Chicago. Yeah, shout out to y'all. It's really all going on here, and I think that's just the mission of what I'm supposed to be doing on this show. You know, if you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. Ain't nothing we can do. Hey, guess what? Nigga, we gonna release the Kraken tomorrow morning. Puerto Rican cuz coming through this motherfucker. Oh man, what a beautiful time it is to be alive. We don't found the Garden of Eden in America. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that a bitch? But before we get there, before Kraken, Puerto Rican cuz get there, I do want to just play some videos to get people minds warmed up about what's really going on. Yeah. Oh yeah, he found it. Oh yes, I can say he found it. It wasn't lost. We just was putting our minds somewhere else in the Middle East, some goddamn where when everything is going on here. So what this young man has did. I told y'all we're gonna release the Kraken on this. Once we got it in the conspiracy world with we could have did King Von. Press 1. We could have solved the King Von. We could have did all that. Did we? No, we don't want to do that no more. No, let these people who copy and emulate get themselves in that type of trouble. Let them go and think that conspiracy shit, you know what I'm saying, is something to play with. There's some serious shit. Let them go. Let them solve all the King Vons, and then this one, let them eat. We here. We could have did that. Listen, when we talk about solving the cases, we could have solved that. We've been told you the manager did it and all this other setup shit. The songs that's being put out is actually disses toward King Von. You know, we could have did that. But what's important is that we stay focused. If we focus on that, we can't focus on the reality, and that's what I choose to focus on here. You know, hit that like button immediately. Immediately. I really, this is the point where things start taking off and people start realizing that this is the Holy Land, the Egyptian philosophy. None of that stuff was, they don't know nothing about that. The sun deity and all that. The knowledge came from here, from people who look just like me with my big cone headed ass. Press one. Let me ask y'all something. What the fuck y'all think Akhenaten and them look like? They look like me. Press one. They ain't got no dreadlocks. Press one. Them pharaohs ain't had no, remember what? No hair, don't care. Who is this dreadlocks and walking around like Haru? Who was these people? That's what I'm saying. I challenge any African, Greek, African fraternity, all the shit. I challenge every last one of you. America is here, and by knowing American is here, Egypt is all of this is the Holy Land. All of this is here. You will begin to understand. See, I'm giving you the knowledge back. Our people are destroyed by what? So this is the restoration. That's all it is. It's the restoration of Israel, G. It's about letting the knowledge increase so you can find out who you is, so all of it begin to make all of that is going on here. That's going to change your tomorrow, for sure. That changes your outlook for tomorrow, knowing that all of these biblical accounts is here. In the video, the sister told you they found an oak tomb with a black, what they say? A stone look like Moses, and a duplication of the 10 Commandments. And then you got these Afrocentrics saying, where's Moses? Where's Jesus? So you begin to see your enemies when you find out who you are, when you start to get your knowledge back. Instinctively, you're going to say, wait a minute. Then that means your brain is going to start making those connections. Yes, lack of knowledge. Our people are destroyed by lack of knowledge. That's it. Not by nothing, because you don't know who you are. You don't have an accurate depiction of the timeline events. And all nations have come and conspired, taking up a confederacy against you. How many stars on that Confederate flag? 13 probably. You know what I'm saying? We gotta start waking up and stop being afraid to speak for ourselves and afraid to show that we can see. See, our generations, they got punished for being able to see, let alone speak. See, you got the opportunity to speak and say something. That's why I asked for interaction, because people got their social media. Motherfuckers hit me up all day talking about, Kev, man, have a blessed day. Only way I'm gonna have a blessed day is if you call into the show and participate and tell the world. That's the only way. So don't leave me no have a blessed day. My blessed day come right here on this show. The language that y'all using to have a blessed day, right here, learning is the way I have a blessed day. Other than that, I'm wasting air talking to you. And then get a good morning, Kev Gibbs. I hope y'all have a blessed day. That don't mean nothing to me. And if you not participate, Kev, bro. That means nothing to me. I get no satisfaction. I get no gratification from good morning. I don't get none. I don't feel it. Oh, what you doing? I don't get it. I don't feel it. The words ain't sweet. What words are sweet to me? And when you call in like this. Poker game tomorrow. Poker game tomorrow. It don't make no sense for us to give up all the information and I gotta talk about rap and shit for people to call in. If I talk about Meek Mill, oh yeah, DJ Academic, man, they tripping. Yeah, man, these niggas, man, that Meek Mill, man, them niggas Illuminati. If I get up here and tell you all these niggas Illuminati, I'll tell you that these niggas sell their soul and I get up here and preach this conspiracy to you, you gonna be calling in for the rest of your life stuck. Do you feel me? Stuck in a world where they want you just, oh, the conspiracy and this one and that one and just this one. You got to learn to separate the two, you know. And I don't want y'all there. That's why I don't go there like that. There's what ifs and stuff like that. I don't go there like that. I don't want to get used to feeding off no algorithm to feeding y'all and get used to the algorithm feeding me, and I'm feeding y'all some distractive bullshit that we coming out of. It'll be, you know, the money's good. Look at these guys. The money's good, but the after effect. It's the after effect that people don't think about. You know what I'm saying? Why the money is good. I think about that type of, I'm the type of nigga that be like, no, we can't have 15 bricks come up here because 10 years, all of our uncles and shit be crackheads. You niggas is like, come on, where the money reside, where the money reside. Let's destroy our community and destroy all the good profitable men that got traits and then come back and say, look what they did to us. That's what type of community y'all don't got used to. Let me stick my hand out and wait for stimulus so I can go buy Jordan. We gonna buy Jordan. You feel me? Kev, is the table stakes $100? I don't know what you mean by that. You'll have to call it in. Get in tune. Get in tune. I told y'all. Shakiva just said it. We were told to look there, so we can't look here. I told you. Y'all thought I was playing. Who got your brain? Who got your body here and got your brain in Africa? I said the same thing Malcolm X said. But you think Malcolm is with these niggas? Malcolm with me. Who put your fucking body here and got your brain in the desert, in the ground like a damn ostrich, thinking about some damn dynasty of the young pharaoh, Sadnetta? These little niggas with this shit hanging off, these niggas with wigs and shit. These is hammer, these them. You talking to Shim? It's them. The original homeboys, the niggas that can really chill at home, the original homeboys. Kev, bro, y'all don't get it. We don't do handouts here. We don't do that because you get one handout, niggas get lazy and they come right back and they start raising their families and shit off a damn handout and get used to it. And then this group forms and say, give us more. The most profitable time to be alive is right now. Niggas talking about, I can't get a $600 check. 2 weeks ago, y'all was dope boys. 7 months ago, y'all was dope boys, basketball players. Y'all was all this. Kev Gills was in these streets, running around Western Broadway, Figueroa, looking at the damn ground and bubble gum and niggas and Mexicans and buying dollar tacos and shit to stay full. Now you niggas is turned to the world. You niggas is, hey man, let's hop on Clubhouse and be friends. Hey man, and niggas can't do nothing without us, family. Master P is showing y'all they can't do nothing without you. Nothing. Y'all just giving y'all time, giving y'all money, giving y'all this one and that one to nations that's here to destroy you. The motherfuckers took y'all back and take, now what the fuck is a Clubhouse, a party line? You niggas paying for party lines? That let you know niggas are scared to get on camera. How you niggas go backwards? The new thing is this video. Put y'all dumbass faces up here. I want to listen to DJ Academic argue with 21 Savage dumbass. Put y'all faces up so we can see how stupid y'all look. While you argue and talk about things that's irrelevant. Clubhouse. $1 billion. Here Kev is on a video Clubhouse. Can't even get niggas to participate in the show. That's why. That's why. Y'all participate on everybody else platforms and everybody else shit when it comes to dumb shit. When time to show how smart you is, you don't know nothing. That's why I'm shining. Because I'm showing you how bright a nigga like me ain't graduated shit. You wanna know why? Fucking, oh, I'm your twin flame and shit. Because nigga, they ain't never seen nothing like it. Nigga, fuck a Jordan. You know what shoe I got on right now? Yeah, bro, I got on Lakai. Nigga, straight up skateboarding shoes. Cream color, match with the shirt. Nigga, I'm on some other shit, skateboard. Anybody worry about no damn $200 Air Jordan, $300, $400? These motherfuckers was on sale, Kev, bro. It's not on you, it's in you, punk. Thought you niggas knew. $59.99, nigga. Borders. What's the name of that place? Borders, nigga. I saw them skateboard shoes. Give me those right here. That's gonna go with my. Give me those right here, right here. You feel me? Damn, nigga, you know a nigga feet don't stink, nigga. Just. Yeah, bro. God damn, you niggas better take them shoes off in this house, nigga. The fuck. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. You know? Every time I get up on this internet, we took one day off. That was Sunday. That was the first day we took off in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. We can't get 100 likes up in here. 135 people up in here. We can't get 100 likes. Hit the like button, fam. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. I'm telling you. Thank you, Tiff. Thank you for everything that you do, Tiffany. Thank you for everything that you do, so. I don't care. I mess with Tiffany, but shout out to Tiff. Shout out to Baby D, too. Y'all know I mess with everybody, but I love them, G. Shout out to Essence Care. Shout out to Amanda and them. Shout out to everybody, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody. And I was about to say your name, too, but I didn't want to say nothing, you know? Yeah. So what we gonna do is I want to, it's a YouTube page by the name of UBTV. UBTV. And this brother is the king, okay? He is the king, okay? He is the shit. I'm going to tell y'all he the shit. And the sister is the shit. I forget her name. Somebody get me that sister name. These two people are teachers. Okay? Now, I say the sister's a teacher because she is, damn it. She is. She's a teacher, bro. You know? Teaching me a lot. You know? Teaching me a lot. I say he a teacher because Janice. Shout out to Janice. Shout out to Janice. Shout out to Janice. I gotta get that in my brain. Shout out to her. She's a teacher for real. We all got different style. You feel me? We all got different style. That's what I'm realizing about the university. These teachers got different styles, and it taking me a while to adjust. I'll be just thinking people be talking and shit. Like people watch me, they be thinking we be just talking. We do. But you know, so much information passed. But UBTV and what's her name? Janice. Shout out to that queen. Shout out to this brother, UBTV, because this brother is keeping it biblical. He keeping it. Not only is Egypt here, this dude got a whiteboard. Bro, one, he got a whiteboard. Is she funny with it like me too? We're gonna have to get her on the show there. We got to get her on the show. She gonna have to come over here and teach. Because I wanna see. You know? I watched one of her shows. She did have me laughing and shit over there. I support that shit over there. Y'all know me, Coffee and Kush TV. I support real. I support other YouTubers. Even Little Kev. Shout out Little Kev. I tried Little Kev. Cuz don't like me. Cuz said, forget me and my $50. He took it. You ever seen a homeless person take some money from you and then call you an asshole or a nigga afterward? Get out my face there, nigga. You ever see that before? Here you go, nice little Russian drunk homeless fuck you. You had to give me that, my Chad. You ain't nothing but a nigga. Give me here. Your family sucks. We destroyed your ancestor. You ever evil shit after you don't gave these people something? That's him. Sir, that's $10. They don't give a shit. Just evil in their heart. One day, they're going to have a self-reflection of all the good people that came into their life where they could have changed. And my face going to come right there like, I told you, nigga. I told you. That's all right. We can get it right. Shout out to Miss Lacey. Her lies be legit, huh? Go over there. It's support bitch Janice. Send me her link so I can post it in here. Somebody get her link and post it in here so people can see what she doing. I'm gonna support the real. You know, somebody get her link, put it in my Discord, and then I'll pull it up and post it right here. Because UBTV needs the same respect. But when y'all talking about finding out if this the homeland or something like that, y'all got to go to UBTV. When finding out about the patents and finding out about this whole system, you got to go to Janine. And if you want to make sense of it all in a logical way, right here, put it all together right here, right here. Come on, Ron, come on home to Professor G. And we're going to play the musical notes with the shit and make it all fit. Yeah. Kev, bro. Make it all fit. Now go over there and support the broadcast. Go over there and get a coffee mug. Get a sweatshirt. Some socks and shoes for yourself. Oh yeah, and beware, the Gillespie brand is coming soon. This the male boot. I'm taking my collection. I'm going to Italy, which is downtown LA, China. But I'm going to Italy. If you catch my drift, which is downtown LA, China, and I'm gonna see about some boot for myself. I want to make a boot. Press one. I want to make a man's fashion boot for my suits and ties, how I dress. So that's what I'm looking for. Because if these niggas can make a boot that I like, I know I can make a boot that they like based off the ideas that they got. Shit, I'm an innovator. They took it from me in the first place. I just take the boot, flip it back around to me. Throw my little urban conservative twist on it. Your ass got some goddamn Gillespies floating around this bitch. We trying to bad boys to grown man around. We talking $1 billion ideas. I ain't talking about no little shit. Won't be a no YouTube. You want to be a YouTuber, man? Fuck a sweep. Fuck a view.com, nigga. Yeah, bro. Bro. Nightly rants. That's what this is, Bocat. You see how that shit just shitted out? I just did that looking down at my boot. I'm gonna make a new damn boot. That's how innovative we are. Motherfucker, I'm gonna make a new boot. I'm gonna make a boot, nigga. I seen a nigga on Instagram make an Air Force One out of goddamn cardboard. That motherfucker was fresh, and a hat, and a Nike sandal. Dude, you got me fucked up. These innovative niggas making motherfucking shoes out of fucking papers out of a book. They rolling joints out of Bible papers. I'm gonna make a boot. You know, just Giuseppe in English is what? Gillespie. But say it again. Y'all don't know what y'all fucking with. Y'all be laughing and shit. This nigga got suit and tie. This nigga got cashmere ties and shit. Kev going soft on the. Kev got cash. He got Cavmere. It ain't even cashmere no more. This nigga got Cavmere. This nigga going all Cavmere. That shit so soft. That shit so soft. That shit just lay on you and shit. Y'all be wondering why I be lounging and shit. That shit so soft. I don't even feel that shit. And a lot of people don't know that. Gillespie is Giuseppe. I told you I was special. Right? All right. And when you say Gillespie, you go to Italy, they say what? You go to France, they say what? Giuseppe. Never mind. But that's there. We was niggas all over the place. Hit the like button and subscribe. It was niggas all over the place. There she is. Oh man, she got more work. And this is what we gonna be doing in my classroom on Discord. Press 1. This is what we gonna be doing. If you're not on Discord, go over there to my Patreon. This is the movies that we gonna be playing. And then 4 movies a month. you know, action movies and stuff like that, Disney and stuff like that. We got poker tournaments and stuff like that. Support the row. Support the row. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you. I'm gonna post her stuff right here, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all go to this sister page and support her page, man. People like this need support. People who bring in truth like that, they need support, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'm gonna put it up in here. And that's there. Go over there and subscribe there. Get as much as you can learn. Come back. Have something to discuss. Go to the Discord. Get off the Roblox. Stop playing Minecraft. Get off the 2K. Get off the 2K. Get off the Roblox, AK. Get off the Roblox right now. Now ain't the time to be breaking out the prison now. It ain't time to build shit on Minecraft, AK. Get off the Minecraft and go subscribe. Go subscribe. It's funny on fucking Discord. You can see who playing video games. Motherfucking Discord is made for gamers. Yeah, get off the Roblox, please. Thank you. Motherfucker, you can't play Roblox and listen to this. Yeah, bro. Hit that like button immediately. Hit that like button immediately. Motherfucking night school. We got brothers at the studio tonight. We got brothers making music right now. You feel me? Making music right now. But I'm on their phones right now. You know, the truth. That's what the truth does. You know what I'm saying? You take it with you with your phone everywhere you go. Damn, I can't get a text message for shit. Huh? Damn, I got a big. Let's get this show on the roll, man. Let's get this show on the roll. So, this is the brother. Right here, right here. Press 1. Press 1. Cool. I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna bring him down so he can teach. And I'm just here with y'all learning. Just like everybody else. I'm learning just like everybody else, G. Y'all see how we all the same color? Y'all see how this shit work? Now, I'm not saying all of us are the same color. What I'm saying is you can tell that this guy is my brother. You understand what I'm saying? Press 1. Can you see that? Can you see the phenotype and the features of this man and in myself? And the different varieties of us, that's different. He ain't from no damn Nigeria, from no damn Ghana, from Zimbabwe, from the Congo, from the west or east of north and south of there. And the Middle East do not exist. Ain't no place in the world 4 directions. 2 directions. Just the middle of a direction, yes. The Middle East. Now how you know y'all are retarded? You can't not live in the middle of a direction. You don't even got a center point for middle. Talk about some damn Middle East. That's the middle of, there is no such thing as no Middle East. That's propaganda to make you believe that lands exist that it does not. That does not, nigga. Show me a Middle East. The hell does that mean? And we glow around here. Y'all see? You see this brother right here? You put a gold crown on him and it blended in right with him. It fit. You put gold on us. It fits. It's supposed to be. This is how we talk. We are the educators. Everybody else is playing around copycatting with their little dumb lectures and stuff that just does not add up. They got pictures. Okay, you got people who told you black people live on the moon. The moon. They're mummies on the moon. That's how far they'll go. These people, these black people, are equivalent to the ones who raided the tombs of Jesus, Moses, and all the biblical people. These are counterintelligence. I told you. What I tell you, what do we teach here? Ideological subversion. What do you think your ideologically? What do you think your ideological structure? What is your ideology here before they came? Why did they have to subvert? What is subversion? This is why all that shit makes sense. Oh. This is subversion. Remember the spook who sat by the door, the movie I showed you? Subversive tactics to destroy you. That's why they fear me. That's why. Because I'm not a subverter. I identify subverter because I'm the truth. So all the subverters know I'm the truth. Those are the niggas y'all support. The subverters. Niggas who steal, try to copy and try to beat West Coast. And the same niggas who live in New York talking about, I moved to Cali, I feel like Tupac now. Look at NLE Chopper. Subverters. Okay, and they got artificial intelligence running this shit. Subversion. These ain't nothing but actors and shit from movie script power and shit. Run around now, their new names is this one. You feel me? Bruh, every continent was once connected. Shut up the cap. When was it connected, fool? No, leave them there. Leave them there. They like to say this. They like to think that the continents was connected in the 1700s. Press 1. Leave them there, Tiffany. I like them because that's I'm gonna unhide them. I want him to talk. That's they only hope is Pangea. Nigga, the treaties wasn't shut up in Pangea, fool. Somebody slap his ass. Pow, nigga, shut up. Your honor is being snatched. Somebody slap his ass and knock his ear sockets. How that motherfucker ringing. These little Pangea head ass niggas. You little YP, little trolling nigga. Ain't no Pangea. Get the shit out of here. Somebody talking about no damn Pangea. I'm talking about a specific time period. That's the problem with them. They like your brain to be lost in ages they know nothing about. They go from Pangea to Planet Risk. They don't care long as you don't say it was here. If they can put you over there, they deny God. If you believe you in Africa, if you believe Africa over there, then you believe the Garden of Eden, then you's a liar. The Garden of Eden is over there in the Middle East, you's a liar. And you don't believe in God, no way. You think Egypt is outside of this? All of this beauty and technology, and nigga, I ain't graduate nothing. We come from the crack era. This godly. Did you see the way my brain put this shit together? That's otherworldly. It ain't supposed to be. I'm supposed to be on the corner selling drugs. Be up in Clinton Mac's facility somewhere doing that shit. Becoming a product for what? Slavery, free. I'll be another handsome brother. Throwing boulders, moving boulders, becoming a slave. It's a blessing. It really is. It really is. Look, Pangea is exactly what I'm saying. It was all connected. G, I told you. I told you what he was saying. I told you. Press 1. I know his stuff. I know your stuff, little man. I know your stuff, little man. You don't know mine. Exactly what I'm saying, Pangea. Go to bed. Go to bed. I know you niggas' whole religion, philosophy, your Gaia, all of it. All of it. You goddamn Palladians. You niggas will believe any damn. You got black Palladians now. You motherfuckers believe they stars now. They just long-haired Palladians coming to save you. And you might make fun of my word because it's the living word and we live in prophecy right now. And you want to make fun of that, but y'all believe in Palladians and Planet Risk and moon people. Anything outside itself. You know what I'm saying? Outside itself. That's it. Anything outside itself. I'm not your professor. You shut up in my classroom. I'm not your professor, fool. You just sit right there. You's a fool. Stop trying to be my friend now. We don't want to be your friend, G. Look at him and say, we don't want to be your friend. Just sit there and shut up. Night school, nigga. Shut up. Copper tones in the building. Shut up. The teachers of the world is in full effect. Shut up, punk. Hater. 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 Ain't nothing like a dang foreigner trying to clown their way into friendship. Press one. No, sir. Let's get this show on the ball. Let me know if you're ready to go. How many people we got here? Let me see. Got up in here. 121. There you go. Hit that like button. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. They God deniers. They subverters. They work with communism, social engineering. That's what TikTok, social media is. That's all product of social engineering, social networking. You think social engineering is? You watch, what Tupac say, you've seen too many movies. You, nigga, that's you. But they need a computer cyborg for when they got you. They just raised you and they ain't got to spend that much money on the goddamn cybernetics when they got you. I keep telling y'all. You the robot. But they got to spend, you grow. They're not going to spend, you watch too many movies. They can grow you. They can have you reproducing another dummy just like you tomorrow. And if you don't want to, you go right here to the flush toilet they call Planned Parenthood and get better and go try it again. I'm too raw. I'm too raw. This is how my dad used to talk to me. And nigga, it was nigga, my lectures, nigga, and my daddy house, nigga, we'd be sleep 3 in the morning and wake up. And I was saying, what love got to do with it? Huh? Damn, yeah, we on the ass whooping phase already. Nigga already got what love got to do with it? Well, I go first, cause I'm sleepy. You can whip my ass first. Fuck that. What is you teaching today, NK? Press 1. You want to come up here and teach Miss AI comes in middle forms? You know what else comes in many forms? Demons. Demons come in many forms. You want to come teach? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on up here. Somebody look at NK and say, tell NK, bring her ass up here and teach you. Demons come in many forms. Artificial intelligence is the same. It's the same program. Demons and shit come in many forms. Y'all better get in y'all word and quit talking and rambling. Talking and rambling to sound good and great. Not tonight, damn it. We done found the Garden of Eden. Did you hear what we say? Where Puerto Rican cuz at? They don't hear us. We done found the Garden of Eden on accident. On accident. Okay? But you're right, they do come in many forms. NK? Thank you. Let me get it. Let me get this. Let me get it. You want to teach? You just let me know. You'll have a straight class. You'll be right up here. Just let me get this. All right, we ready to go. PR cuz. You feel me? They know a lot, PR. Tell me Shaq and Kobe this shit. You feel me? We don't found it. There's nothing y'all gonna be able to do now. Tomorrow morning school, I should have a whole conversation about the Garden of Eden, all of this stuff, prophecy. Now that you know that all this Egyptian stuff was here, all of it. Now that you know. Now you got to start thinking about it. Yeah, we got an 81 point night. We got an 81 point night. That's why that's morning. We got to do that in the morning. We got to talk about that. And that's very important. You know what I'm saying? And shout out, we're gonna release the Kraken on them tomorrow morning. That's for sure. But let's get to the little movie. This might help us out a little more, so we might be able to study a little more for the night. But yeah, let's get this shit on the roll. They can see through.
Shalom, family.
Shalom, my nigga.
All praise to the Most High. So today we will be debunking more heathens. So I know a lot of you guys are familiar with my fake pyramids of shit video, and most of you, if you've been following me for a while, you are very apt to a lot of my research as it pertains to the true Holy Land and the true ancient Holy Lands. So today I will be proving beyond a shadow of a...
Wait a minute. See, this is why I love this.
You are very apt.
Is that
to
California?
A lot of my research as it pertains to the true Holy Land and the true ancient Holy Lands. So today, I will be proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that America is Egypt. And when I say America,
y'all see that's California, right? Okay.
Is Egypt. America, or the...
What is Mount Hor? Is that where Moses delivered the speech? Where did Horad? Oh shit! Oh, where did? I'm tripping, G. This it means a lot now. It means more now.
Americas is a portion of the land that ancient Egypt used to lie in. Now, for a lot of people who are new to this theory, I don't even call it a theory. This is the truth. The other place isn't even a theory; it's a theme park that they set up over there, and they refabricated world history. This is beyond a shadow of a doubt. So what I will be doing today, especially for you skeptics, I will be debunking all of your quote unquote academia, all of your top scholars. I'll be debunking all heathens today. And we'll be doing it using the same resources that they've been using. Now, just the name Egypt in general is synonymous with the Old Testament, correct? So when we're looking at this, and even when we're talking about models of the world, understand that much of the geography that we think is the true geography of the earth is based upon the Old Testament. So what I'll be doing today is not only going through the history of ancient Egypt, but I'm going to be going through the history of ancient Egypt as it exchanges hands into kingdoms. In addition to exchanging hands into kingdoms, we'll also be running parallel the biblical timeline with what we think ancient.
Now, let me tell y'all something. Who is that? Now, y'all was trying to say that was Obama. But Obama is Sudanese. Y'all don't hear me though. Ain't this this is nigga, this is, remember X-Men Apocalypse? This is the return of that type of shit.
Ancient Egypt's timeline is. So before we get started, understand that Hebrew and Egyptian chronology is at odds with one another. To believe Egyptian chronology means that during the entire flood of Noah, Egypt was at the height of its prosperity. So how is that even possible? If Egyptian chronology is supposed to be taken legitimately, does that mean that the flood didn't exist? Or does that mean that Egyptian chronology as we know it has been totally fabricated? Now, before we even get into that, and I will be giving you guys an outline, and I'll also be giving you guys plenty of cited academic resources in order to fact check a lot of the information that I'm putting here. So especially for you skeptics, when we're going along the lines of trying to define Mitzrayim from Egypt, you'll understand what I'm talking about, because chances are, if you're a skeptic on this subject, you're probably not doing your research correctly. And very easily and effectively, I will be debunking all of the bullshit. So by the end of the video, you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Americas are indeed the lands of ancient Egypt, in addition to a lot of other ancient holy lands as well. So don't just think that I'm saying that the entire landscape of America was all ancient Egypt. All right?
Wow. 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 You see how he just freely freestyles this, y'all? Y'all see how we just do this? We don't gotta just keep putting up nothing. Just, hey, just what it is. We just freestyle this. Not freestyle, but it's inner, not on her. It's inner. We know once we get going, we know the truth. They'll try to tell you it's all over. The COINTELPRO tell you it's all in Africa. Well, Africa don't exist. And make believe. You can't get on one flight in America and say, I'm going to Africa. Take me to Africa. They're going to say, sir, sit your dumb ass down. And we keep telling you. Nigga, you better choose your destination and quit with this Africa shit. Nigga, where is you going? You feel me? That does not exist, sir. Stop acting. Stop trying to tell me it's somewhere that I can fly to. It's a figment of the only Africa is South Africa, and they just became Africa. So keep playing. Just keep playing.
So let's get into defining the context of Egypt. There are two ways that we can define Egypt, okay? First of all, we can define it simply as Mitzrayim, which is the son of Ham. Now, the word Egypt itself is Greek. Now, of course, we speak a bastardized language as the words are flowing out of my pie hole. We don't really understand the true contextual meaning behind, or the difference behind the contrast of the word Mitzrayim and Egypt. First of all, let's just get down to the foundational definition of Mitzrayim was not just the son of Ham, okay? Mitzrayim actually has dual meaning. Mitzrah and Ayim actually have two different meanings. Now, when we're looking at this in a biblical context, other than Mitzrayim, other than being the son of Ham, is supposedly the name representative of the lands of ancient Egypt. Okay? So, over time, obviously, once the Greek took over, things got translated over. And much of the meaning of the words and the definitions that we think we know.
Now, you see why they got to go through Greek to teach Afrocentricity? Press 1. You see why you got to go through Greek fraternity? For them to indoctrinate Afrocentricity in your ass. You hear me? All of these people talking about the metal nature and it's all fake. All of it. Care, bro, battle, any of them is all make believe. Anybody sit up here talking about they don't went to the Egypt and they don't did this one? General Seti, fake. Young Pharaoh, fake. Sotnetter TV, fake. All that shit fake. I ain't no battle. We squash Afrocentricity, whatever the fuck that shit is. We step on that. Pew. Like the French fry. Yes, what is this? Afrocentricity from the Greeks, from the Grecians. These guys are children lovers. Pure, pure. Pure, I'll say. It's gonna be a cold week. Lord have mercy. We challenging all of them, Greek fraternity.
This is exactly where much of the contextual understanding gets lost. So, Mitzrayim, son of Ham, also the land of the upper and lower Egypt. Okay, so we want to say upper or lower Egypt. These are descriptive adjectives based upon who ruled each area. So, in addition to Mitzrayim and Ayim, the dual meaning for upper and lower Egypt. All right. So, upper Egypt was said to be ruled by Horus, and lower Egypt is said to be ruled by Set. So, the contextual.
They're good. See? Because everybody had their own gods, their own kings and queens. So listen. That shit set in them talking about y'all and go to Africa. So that young Pharaoh and them, Seti, go to Africa. They're all wrong. And I'm challenging them. Because if they can't respond, then everything they've been teaching has been a lie. See how God worked? The king of Israel has been a lie. They don't believe in God, do they? Do they believe in God? Do they believe in the Bible? No. They believe in counterintelligence. Are they in Africa? No. They're in Detroit and shit. Running around fucking Florida and shit. Atlanta. Y'all gotta wake up, family.
Odds that these two, I don't know what you would call them, deities or even rulers at the time, because we don't really know the context and what they actually mean. Because we know that these are deities. We know these are Egyptian deities. But we also know that at some point in the past that the gods intermingled with human, and in many ways, half human, half whatever you want to call them.
That's right.
Were considered gods on earth. And we're going to be really...
I can't wait till we get into that. That's like me. That's like me coming down and stepping down off my throne to mingle in with one of these average ass, remember Princess Jasmine mingling with Aladdin, that type of shit? Was a king coming down off his throne, mingling with an average woman. Understand? We gonna get into this. Hey, Jay Johnson, you gonna stay lost. Are you on the Discord, Jay Johnson? No. Do you participate here, Jay Johnson? No. You gonna stay lost. Just sit there
as we discuss the lineage and history of Egypt. So, for example, you have upper that has to do with Horus, lower that has to do with Set. Something I noticed just geographically, when you think about it, Horus and Set, the sunrise and sunset. So you could look at it essentially like east and west, north and south, however you want to look at sunrises. That's what seems to be going on here. So an additional meaning is the house of Ptah. Okay. Now I really want to go over this because I think this is probably one of the most important meanings or important adjectives as we're going into understanding Egypt on an etymological level. Okay, so the Egyptian deity Ptah, P-T-A-H. The P is silent. And so I didn't say this, but Ptah is pronounced Ptah. All right? Now, we can see that there. And Ptah is the Egyptian creator god. Similar to the accounts in Genesis, it is stated through Egyptian myth that Ptah not only thought the world into existence, he also spoke the world into existence. So thought, and spoke the world into existence. So when we're looking at this, when you're just the name Ptah, if we were to, for those of you who have seen The Smartest Beast in the Field, when we're going back to Genesis, this would be almost a similar deity to what they're saying the Genesis 1 creator is. All right? The land of Ptah. The house of Ptah. So, in short, who is Ptah? The creator God. So that would be the house of the creator God. All right? Now, we're going to get a little bit deeper because now we're going to go to what the word Egypt means today and how it got that meaning. All right? So, obviously, there was a time when Greece, and we'll be talking about this, and we're going to go through scripture as well. We're going to go through scripture chronologically, so you're going to see these places that come up. You're going to see mainly Egypt, and you're going to see the context in which Egypt comes up each time as we go throughout scripture, telling stories. Okay, so we're going to start off with Abraham, and then we're going to end with the fall of Egypt when it gets into the hands of Rome. And we're going to really analyze the stories in between. Now, of course, when we're analyzing the stories in between, we cannot go with Egyptian history because there is none there from the standpoint that includes the world. So, of course, we will be using scripture, and we'll be cross-referencing pretty much all of the major plot sequences in which Egypt plays somewhat of a role that we've talked about before. But we'll be expounding on that a lot more. So, Egypt obviously is a Greek word, okay? Now, this is where we're really going to get into not just scripture, but we're also going to have to, just in order to understand the heathens and where they come from and their mythology and their history, we're going to have to get into mythology ourselves. So we're going to have to cross-reference Egyptian mythology with Greek mythology. And we're going to be doing that, of course, with scripture. And what you're going to start seeing
Woo! There were two different strains. Listen, now you got to look at this as an American, as third person. You know, you don't look at this as yourself. Think of it as a person, as like a board or something that you watching different ideas. You know, different people. Don't get caught up in it.
Things will start working themselves out.
It's a beautiful.
I'm really excited for those of you who've actually seen The Smartest Beast in the Field and you're caught up to the episodes, because this stuff kind of falls in line with understanding who's who in terms of genetics also. So let's tell the story of Greece and how Greece becomes Egypt. I'm actually not going to tell that story. That story will get told as I'm going through the history of the Bible. But right now, we're going to give you just what we're doing now is from an etymological standpoint. I'm going to show you how it becomes Egypt. Okay. Now, Egyptus, son of Belus, is who? Now, Belus just happens to be the son of Poseidon and Libya. So I want to, and this is where things get funny. All right. So you see here, Egyptus is the son of Belus. All right. Now these people are all, what you would call Greek gods, so to speak, or they're considered in the lineage of Greek gods. So you have Poseidon, then you have Libya. Now I want to take a look at Libya really quickly, because Libya is said to be the lands. When I say the lands, we're going to go back, because now Libya has a name and it's a woman, and it is the mother of Egyptus, right? But the house of Lud under the Hamites, okay, were supposed to be represented by Libya. So this should be Lud, son of Ham. If we were going to draw these connections here, and if we don't even know that this is Libya, daughter of Lud. We don't know that. Here's what we do know. That she is what we like to call, where's it at? I don't even see it on here. She's part of the catalog of women. All right, I didn't see it here. So she's part of the catalog of women. So back in the day, there were women who were from certain lineages who were selected. Okay? They were selected as breeding partners or sources of eggs for Greek gods, or I would say split angel human lineages. So the catalog of women is a very interesting just concept in general, where as opposed to men just going out and getting a woman, there's actually, I don't know what it is, a group of women. And I guess you could look it up as well. Now, this is just based off what I remember. But it's a group of women who are essentially born and bred to lay with, gods, so to speak. And so Libya is supposedly part of the catalog of women. So this gets even a little bit better. So Belus, the father of Egypt,
this is interesting.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's Diodorus. Don't completely quote me on that. But it was one of these Roman, Greek scribes. According to Diodorus, or I don't know, one of the guys, Belus founded a colony on the Euphrates. Okay. In addition, he appointed priests, astrologers, aka Chaldeans. I know some of y'all say Chaldeans or Chaldees. I call them Chaldeans. All right. So we know here that the priest astrologers were Chaldeans. Now, for those of you who really get into scripture, you see that all the time.
Yes.
You always see the Chaldees, the Ur of the Chaldees. Where did Abraham come from? The Chaldees. So even when we start cross-referencing what we know about Egyptian history, we can start to...
See, the thing about scripture is once you start identifying the land masses, so you, like the sister Cheka was saying earlier, she was like, I'm new to these names and once you get these names in the geographical areas, you're going to be like remembering it like where Arizona is on a map. But your brain has to make the connection that's here. You understand? Once your brain get used to it's gonna come to you. Chaldean, the Chaldeans or the Chaldeans. It's not gonna be the Chaldeans to you anymore. You're gonna be able to see it because in real life they're still here. This is a living prophecy. This is what's going on now. You see why they don't believe? We're gonna keep going.
We can start to learn more about scripture and what's really going on in the stories and where the stories are taking place and who people are, or characteristics of certain nations. So we know for a fact that when we're talking about a Chaldean or a Chaldean, we're most likely talking about an astrologer, a priest astrologer. Okay? So according to this legend, Belus founded a colony on the Euphrates and appointed priest astrologers, Chaldeans. So a couple of things that I want to reconcile here. You see the word Euphrates, and I did check that. It is said Euphrates, but we all know that, Egyptus Nile. The Euphrates is in no way synonymous with the Nile in terms of what we think in our brains. But of course, if you saw one of the videos I did, I think it was the Babylon video, but we very easily debunked the fact that the Mississippi/Nile is the Euphrates. As a matter of fact, we know for a fact that the Nile was never mentioned by name in scripture as a specific river. And we know that when they're referring to the Nile, they're referring to a what? A stream, a brook, or a tributary of a much larger body of water, and not a single body of water. And what I have also done is I pulled up a few verses in the Bible as well that we'll look at in the actual Torah and the Tanakh. We'll actually look at some geographic characteristics that we can use to easily debunk the Nile River being over there. So it's a beautiful thing, but we also know that the Nile is synonymous with Egypt, but we also know that it's not the Nile that we are talking about. The Nile are Nilios or Nelios, okay? and we've gone through this again, is the Greek river god.
Hold on. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all know. Y'all ready? Press what? Just let me know if you're ready. Press one. You do know that this is a lot of people Jesus. Press what? Y'all do know that this is their God right here. This is it right here. Black people, you ready to jump. A lot of y'all people, this statue here. Yeah, so rapping. You ever see the face on Versace? That what you want? Reach. What you want? This what y'all want. I try to tell you. This what y'all believe in statues and stuff. This is how they got their gods on us.
Okay?
Hey.
So, one of the first things you must understand here is that the meanings between the Nile and the Euphrates.
And I told you, what did he have all around him? Little cupids, little children of love, right? Told you. I just made that joke 10 minutes, 15 minutes ago.
These have been confounded into two different rivers. Okay?
It's easy for me.
You have the Euphrates, then you have the Nile. Same river. All right? The Euphrates is the big.
Now you see why they need the Greek. They got to go through Greece fraternity to tell you that you're African, and that the Bible is only Greek mythology. The Grecians tell these blacks to tell you that you're from Africa and that your word is Greek mythology because Greeks perverted your word and said, this is the gods right here. They made a Sistine Chapel. They made God touch a man like this one. Looking just like him. It's all Greek mythology. All of it. You feel me? DJ Khaled and them.
The Nile is the little. And I don't even want to call it the Nile being the little. The Nile is referred to are the brooks, creeks, or streams of the much larger river, the great river, the Euphrates. Okay? So just essentially, the meanings of those two rivers have been confounded in our brains. And it's interesting because we all know about the Nile, and we can tell that Egyptian history in many ways gets pushed into our brain academically, because for some reason people don't seem to want to give true credit to the only history book that matters, and that's the Torah, because the Torah is the foundation of all this knowledge, and we can actually see that. We can.
He said, what is the foundation? What's the foundation of all this knowledge? Come on, they don't give credit to what? Somebody talk to me. What's the foundation? So tell me, how I know all y'all stuff? Y'all should be knowing my shit. I know all y'all shit. I run through y'all shit. Easy, it's nothing. But I tell you, the 5 books of Moses, see, there you go, NK. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. You gonna do this shit, do it right. Give me that stuff right there. This is biblical stuff going on here. We talking about Moses. We talking about the rod, the staff. We talking about that now. So people y'all really gotta think on this.
Much larger river, the great river, the Euphrates. Okay? So just essentially, the meanings of those two rivers have been confounded in our brains. And it's interesting because we all know about the Nile, and we can tell that Egyptian history in many ways gets pushed into our brain academically, because for some reason people don't seem to want to give true credit to the only history book that matters, and that's the Torah. Because the Torah is the foundation of all this knowledge, and we can actually see that. We can, once we understand the words that were written down for us to finally understand, we can actually see a lot of this stuff being played out.
That's right.
So we know what's true, we know what's false,
That's right.
we know what's being attributed to these people was actually something that came long before them. And so learning the Torah is just foundational to understanding how deception works. Okay, so we all know that the Nile is the Euphrates, the Nile being tributaries, creeks, or streams. They literally confounded the meaning of this word. Now, getting back to Egyptus, son of Belus, this is where the current lands of Egypt have been named. Or this is for whom the current lands of Egypt have been named. Egyptus, son of Belus, founded a colony on the Euphrates. Appointed priest astrologers. Now this is coming from the Greek, okay, guys? We got to understand something. That a lot of the accounts that you're going to read, the Strabos, the Herodotus, the Diodoras, the whoever does it, Diodoras. The Herodotus, I already forgot the dude's name. Anybody who you see during, who's actually transliterating a lot of this past history, they're doing it in the Greek era, okay? So this has already been, much of this history has already been established. And what they are doing from this point on is transliterating it into their own understanding. All right? And this is where things get lost in translation. Sometimes purposely, sometimes accidentally. So Egyptus. So the myth about Egyptus is he had 50 sons. 50 sons with multiple different women. I'm not sure if he actually caught Antonio Cromartie, but, or I'm not sure if Antonio Cromartie caught him, but I'm sure he's close. But the myth of 50 sons and the Danaids, all right, or Danaids. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it. But apparently Egyptus had 50 sons. And he set his sons to get married to his brother's daughters. And his brother tells his daughters to murder their husbands on their wedding night. So according to the legend, 49 of the 50 sons actually got murdered. And then the 50th son who didn't get murdered avenged his brother's deaths. And so this is a little mythology tied around Egypt. So I want you guys to go ahead and write this down because we're going to keep it moving. I just want to make sure that we get this. Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about this. We'll talk about this really quickly. We're going to get into this later. But the ancient name that the Egyptians called Egypt was Tamari. Okay? So we can see a few things here, okay? So we already know Ta and Mary have a few different meanings, and you'll actually hear be pronounced Tamara or Tamara, okay? But what we should know is Ta and Mary, etymologically, we know that the syllables actually break up the phonetical meanings of both of those sounds. So we've got Tamari, and we can actually go ahead and relate that to who? Ta, okay? That's easy. Now, I'm sure that somebody else has their own proclamation of exactly what the meaning is, but that's right there in the Egyptian hieroglyphic dictionary. It's right there, Ta, Mary. And then you also have Mary meaning stone. Okay, so if we were to combine those words, that would be Ta stone, or the stone of Ta. Interesting, the stone of Ta.
So what was they calling that black stone then? We just watched them talk about. Never mind.
Okay.
So who was
That's
that?
easy. Now I'm sure that somebody else has their own proclamation
That's
of exactly
crazy,
what the
G.
meaning is.
That's crazy.
But that's right there in the Egyptian hieroglyphic dictionary. It's right there. Ta, Mary. And then you also have Mary meaning stone. Okay, so if we were to combine those words, that would be Ta stone, or the stone of Ta. Interesting. The stone of Ta.
The philosopher's stone.
The stone of Ta. Ta Mary. What does that also sound like? If we were to reverse the syllables, it would be Mary Ta. Interesting. Mary Ta. Ta Mary. Kind of sounds like this place I know. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. Make sure you get the notes, because we're going to be going on to the next board scribble. Hopefully you can read all that stuff. And what I'll do is I'll zoom in as well.
This is true for some periods, but for others, like the ancient empire, we know very little. And that's why, finally, your questions are ours. When it comes to the building of the pyramids, we have a lot of theories, but no written account.
Appendix B, the problem with Egyptian chronology. In 1886, historian George Rawlinson began his chapter on Egyptian chronology with this statement. It is a patent fact, and one that is beginning to obtain general recognition, that the chronological element in early Egyptian history is in a state of almost hopeless obscurity. There are several kinds of chronological documents, including the actual monuments. The chronological value of these various sources of information is, however, in every case, slight. The great defect of these monuments is their incompleteness. The Egyptians had no era. They drew out no chronological schemes. They cared nothing but to know how long each incarnate god, human or bovine, had condescended to tarry on the earth. They recorded carefully the length of life of each Apis bull and the length of the reign of each king, but they neglected to take note of the intervals between one Apis bull and another, and omitted to distinguish the sole reign of a monarch from his joint reign with others.
And
General said he can't do it.
You can go ahead and take these
But
notes
what
here.
General say?
So what
said
we're
he
going
say?
to be doing now,
They don't even got
is
evidence of the shit.
We're going to take a
It's all
detailed
over
trip
here.
through scripture, and in particularly, we're going to be highlighting Egypt. And in each place that Egypt comes up. Now, obviously, Egypt and Canaan are places that are mentioned, I don't know, a lot. Probably over, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Egypt has over 400 mentions. Okay, so I looked at all 400 of them, but I'm not going to present you with every time the word Egypt comes up, because we're really just looking to really just try to understand certain things. Now, if there's a place where Egypt comes up that that should be looked at, that maybe I haven't covered throughout this video, definitely bring it to my attention, which I will be happy to look at, because more so than anything, right now, too much information doesn't exist. So any information that we can credibly ascertain that leads us to the truth is well worth the time of investigation. So first, we are going to be looking at the first time that the word Egypt is brought up in scripture. Now, I want to make this point again. In the first part, we define the differences between Mitzrayim and Egypt. So for consumption purposes, I'm just going to be using Egypt throughout, because that is the tongue in which I speak. This is a bastardized Greek variation of whatever language that they were trying to hide. So what we're trying to do now is just figure out what are the characteristics of Egypt. So in Genesis 12:10, which is the first mention of Egypt in the Old Testament, or really in the Torah, Genesis 12:10. Okay? Now, in what context is Egypt mentioned? So there was a famine in the land, and Of course, Abram, at the time, him and his wife Sarai, go down to Egypt to sojourn or to basically take refuge. So I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the story, but we could talk about that a little bit later. Okay, the point of this is just to say, okay, there was a famine in the land and they went to Egypt as a place of refuge. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a famine refuge in terms of a theme that can be legitimately ascertained just by reading Genesis 12:10. So what that means is they had food. More so than anything, we know that there was food in Egypt. All right, so now there was a whole story that happened, and eventually Abram ends up leaving Egypt with more riches. He literally goes down to Egypt and he's literally afraid of his life because he's got a beautiful wife, and he tells his wife to say, if we get captured, tell me you're my sister so I can live. And of course, she does that, and by virtue of another man taking his wife, that other guy gets cursed. And of course, gives Abraham all of these gifts, and Abraham leaves Egypt with more than he came with. Okay, so that is another theme, all right? That is another thing, okay? So more than just a place of refuge, it's actually a place that you can come up out of and might be on the good side. So we don't know how broke or poor or how, humble Abram was at the time before he went to Egypt. I imagine he had to be somewhat humble if he didn't have food to feed himself and his wife, and he literally had to go somewhere else to get food. But when he returns from Egypt, he returns with riches. So you can go live the American dream or the Egyptian dream. So in the next time that we see Egypt, it is in Genesis 26, and Isaac is being told not to go into Egypt. Again, there's another famine in the land, and he is being instructed to not go into Egypt. So I really want to stay here for a second because once again, we can still tie in the fact that obviously Egypt is the place that seems to be a common location of refuge when there's no food, people go to Egypt. And that can easily be established through the first two right there, 12:10-26. All right. Do not go into Egypt. And this is during the time that Isaac received the promise. We see in Genesis 26, we can see that Isaac dwelt in Gerar and did not go into Egypt. So the next time we see Egypt, or next time Egypt becomes a major part of the story, is really when we get into the children of Isaac, especially once we're talking about the sons and the brothers. And in particular, we're going to be talking about Joseph. So the story of Joseph starts a few chapters after Isaac. We're in Genesis 37 now. So during the story of Joseph, he was feeling himself. I'm just going to paraphrase. Joseph was feeling himself, and he was kind of like, he was like LaMelo Ball. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying LaMelo Ball feels like this, but imagine LaMelo. Is it LaMelo? Yeah. Imagine LaMelo thinking he's the best ball brother, but he's the baby. And all the brothers have already paid their dues and went to war and everything. Well, Joseph was like that. He was the baby, and apparently he was more comely as well. So not only was he the baby, but basically because he was the youngest, he got to reap all of the benefits from all of the wars and battles that his brothers had fought and won. During this, obviously, he exalted himself, and this in turn caused a little jealousy among his brothers. Long story short, and he obviously was receiving favor from his father, and his brothers wasn't feeling it. So they sold him. All right. They sold him to some Ishmaelites.
They sold him.
They didn't know exactly what to do with him. They had him in the pit for a little bit, trying to decide what to do. And eventually they sold him. Now, this is kind of a crazy part of the story because they sold their brother, but The brothers had to hide the lie. Think about it. We're talking about Levi, Simeon, Judah, Benjamin. They all had to hide the fact that they had sold their brother to Ishmaelites and they took him to Egypt. They had to hide that from their father, who was distraught. So Joseph gets sold, goes down into Egypt, and once again, we start to see a come up, right? So he ends up serving under Potiphar, who is the captain of the Pharaohic guard. So he ends up serving for Potiphar. He just happens to be part of the king's guard, or what they call the Pharaohic guard. Now, going back up, and we're going to stop here because this is kind of what I wanted you to see here when we're talking about Pharaohic and Pharaoh. Okay, so I want to go here because we're trying to figure out certain things. Okay, so the book of Jasher runs parallel to Genesis. For those of you who don't know, in many ways, sometimes even the chapters line up. Sometimes they don't, but sometimes they do. Where if you go to chapter 12 in Genesis, it'll be chapter 12 in Jasher. Well, during this time, it actually is chapter 14. And they very similarly line up. And what you can do is chronologically, just figure that out. So in Jasher, I forget exactly. I'm not going to go all the way and read Jasher, but I will read just an excerpt just to let you know exactly who was Pharaoh, okay? Who was Pharaoh, not at the time of Joseph, okay? But who was Pharaoh at the time of Abraham? Because we know that Joseph served under Potiphar, but Potiphar wasn't a Pharaoh. He was part of the Pharaohic guard. But we do know there was a Pharaoh in Egypt during the time that Abram and Sarai sojourned in Egypt. So when we read chapter 14 in the book of Jasher, this is how we can start to, I would say, cross-analyze our resources. So during those days that Abraham was sojourning in Egypt, and I'm going to see here, I believe that's in...
Hey, y'all see how we went biblical, he go biblical, but he just came from history. You see how real history relates to real scripture? That's what I'm trying to show y'all, is that that's like it's deeper than rap. It's deeper than rap.
Yeah, so it's just after chapter 13. So we're going to go to chapter 14 really quickly. And I'm just going to read from the book of Jasher. And you can get a little more insight into what's going on. Okay? So I had just gone to chapter 13 to make sure it's during the same chronological time period as Abram and Sarai, just to double check again. So I'm going to start at Jasher 14:1. In those days, there was in the land of Shinar a wise man who had understanding and all wisdom and of a beautiful appearance, but he was poor and indigent. His name was Richion, and he was hard set to support himself. And he resolved to go to Egypt to Osiris, the son of Anam, king of Egypt, to show the king his wisdom, for perhaps he might find grace in his sight, to raise him up, give him maintenance. And Richion did so. And when Richion came to Egypt, he asked the inhabitants of Egypt concerning the king, and the inhabitants of Egypt told him the custom of the king of Egypt. For it was the custom of the king of Egypt that when he went from his royal palace and was seen abroad only one day in the year. And after that, the king will return to his palace and remain there for the rest of the year. And on the day that the king went forth, he passed judgment in the land, and everyone having a suit came before the king that day to obtain his request. And when Richion heard of this custom in Egypt, and that he could not come into the presence of the king, he grieved greatly and was very sorrowful. And in the evening, Ricion went out and found a house in ruins, formerly a bake house in Egypt. And he abode there all night in bitterness of soul and pinched with hunger. And sleep was removed from his eyes. And Ricion considered within himself what he should do in the town until the king made his appearance, and how he might maintain himself there. And there he arose in the morning and walked about, and met in his way those who sold vegetables and various sorts of seed with which they supplied the inhabitants. And Ricion wished to do the same in order to get a maintenance in the city. But he was unacquainted with the custom of the people, and he was like a blind man among them. And he went and obtained vegetables to sell for his support, and the rabble assembled about him and ridiculed him, and took his vegetables from him and left him nothing. And then he rose up from there in bitterness of soul, and he went sighing to the bakehouse in which he had remained all the night before, and he slept there the second night. And on that night again he reasoned within himself, how could he save himself from starvation? And he devised a scheme how to act. And he rose up in the morning and acted ingeniously, and went and hired 30 strong men of the rabble, carrying their war instruments in their hands, and he led them to the top of the Egyptian sepulchre, and he placed them there. Now I want to stop here. The thing that kind of got me about this story, now I've read this story quite a few times, is that we know Ricion was broke, or we think he was broke. So I always wondered how he was able to hire the rabble and go to the Egyptian sepulchre, okay? So, like I said, we're just reading the story about Ricion, all right, who was the first pharaoh, and we're getting into why he's called pharaoh. Just follow along. And let's see here, where do we leave off? And he commanded them, saying, thus saith the king, strengthen yourselves. Okay, maybe as I'm looking at this, maybe he just uses the king of his, maybe he's using the king's word to his favor, as opposed to really paying them to do it. Maybe there was some, I don't know, some exchange that was other than just 200 pieces of silver or whatever it would be. So maybe there was some other exchange. And he commanded them, saying, thus saith the king, strengthen yourselves and be valiant men, and let no man be buried here until 200 pieces of silver be given, and then he may be buried. And those men did according to the order of Ricion to the people of Egypt the whole of that year. And in 8 months' time, Ricion and his men gathered great riches of silver and gold, and Ricion took a great quantity of horses and other animals, and he hired more men, and he gave them horses, and they remained with him. And when the year came round at the time the king went forth into the town, all the inhabitants of Egypt assembled together to speak to him concerning the work of Ricion and all his men. And the king went forth on the appointed day, and all the Egyptians came before him and cried unto him, saying, may the king live forever. What is this thing thou doest in the town to thy servants, not to suffer a dead body to be buried until much silver and gold be given? Was there ever the like unto this done in the whole earth from the days of former kings, yea, even from the days of Adam unto this day, that the dead should not be buried only for a set price? We know it to be a custom of kings to take a yearly tax from the living, but thou dost not only do this, but from the dead also thou exactest a tax day by day? Now, O king, we can no more bear this, for the whole city is ruined on this account. And dost thou not know it? And then the king heard all they had spoken. He was very wroth, and in his anger burned within him at this affair, for he had known nothing of it. And the king said, who and where is he that dares to do this wicked thing in my land without my command? Surely you will tell him. And they told him all the works of Ricion and all his men. And the king's anger was aroused, and he ordered Ricion and his men to be brought before him. And Ricion took about 1,000 children, sons and daughters, clothed them in silk and embroidery, and he set them upon horses and sent them to the king by means of this. And he also took a great quantity of silver and gold and precious stones, and a strong, beautiful horse as a present for the king, with which he came before the king and bowed down to the earth before him. And the king, his servants, and all the inhabitants of Egypt wondered at the work of Ricion, and they saw his riches and presented, and the present that he had brought to the king. And it greatly pleased the king, and he wondered at it. And when Ricion sat before him, the king asked him concerning all of his works. And Ricion spoke all his words wisely before the king, his servants, and all the inhabitants of Egypt. And when the king heard the works of Ricion and his wisdom, Ricion found grace in his sight, and he met with the grace and kindness from all the servants of the king, from all the inhabitants of Egypt, on the account of his wisdom and excellent speeches. And from that time they loved him exceedingly. And the king answered and said to Ricion, thy name shall no more be called Ricion, but Pharaoh shall be thy name, since thou didst exact a tax from the dead. And he called his name Pharaoh. And the king and his subjects loved Ricion for his wisdom, and they consulted with all the inhabitants of Egypt to make him prefect under the king. And all the inhabitants of Egypt and his wise men did so. And it was made law in Egypt. And they made Ricion Pharaoh prefect under Osiris, king of Egypt. And Ricion Pharaoh governed over Egypt, daily administering justice to the whole city. But Osiris the king would judge the people of the land one day in the year, when he went out to make his appearance. And Ricion Pharaoh cunningly usurped the government of Egypt, and he exacted a tax from all of the inhabitants of Egypt. And all of the inhabitants of Egypt greatly loved Ricion Pharaoh, and they made a decree to call every king that should reign over them and their seed in Egypt Pharaoh. Therefore, all the kings that reigned in Egypt from that time forward were called Pharaoh unto this day.
Wow.
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 Ricion devised a scheme to charge people to bury their loved ones. Over the span of approximately 8 months, he gathered.
Y'all see that? Now y'all see why they now, bruh. See, you can fool some of the people, some of the time. Can't fool all the people all the time. Young Pharaoh. You see? Very, very important information. Let my nails grow. I clean them myself. That's insane. That's crazy, G. Crazy. Told y'all just smoke. It's nice, cool. I told you they worship the dead. Okay, and it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that, but it just goes to the psychology.
The tax from all of the inhabitants of Egypt. And all of the inhabitants of Egypt greatly loved Ricion Pharaoh, and they made a decree to call every king that should reign over them and their seed in Egypt Pharaoh. Therefore, all the kings that reigned in Egypt from that time forward were called Pharaoh unto this day. Wow. Ricion devised a scheme to charge people to bury their loved ones.
Wow.
Over the span of approximately 8 months, he gathered so many riches that he sent lavish gifts, animals, silver and gold to the king. Once he was able to do this, he got favor with the king. And according to Jasher 14, he spoke wisely to the king.
How much it cost to
And the
bury your
king
dad at
called
church?
him Pharaoh because
How much it cost to bury your dad at church?
he exacted a tax from the dead. Just want to make sure I put this here. Pharaoh taxes the
dead.
Just,
Like,
just want you guys to understand the
Nigga, that's some deep shit. That's like us.
foundational
Never mind. Never mind. That's
meaning
some deep
of
shit.
the word Pharaoh. I don't know if that means
Wow.
dead body tax collector. I
He's
don't
a-
know how that's broken up.
Yeah, he's a scheme artist, a scam artist too. Cause you unaware. What is the dead? But we'll get into that.
But we do know from Jasher that he is called Pharaoh because he exacted a tax from the dead. This was during the life of Abraham. Abraham goes down during a famine with his wife Sarai. Abraham leaves Egypt with more than he came. Genesis 26, don't go into Egypt because there's another famine. Dwell in Gerar. Joseph, sold by his brothers to Ishmaelites, ends up in Egypt working under Potiphar. Now we could go on, we could tell the long story of Joseph, but all you really need to know is Joseph became great in Egypt.
That's right.
All right. So once again, we have another story of somebody going down into Egypt and coming out on top. All right. So Joseph became so great in Egypt, they honored him. He had lands, he had riches, he had everything. And furthermore, and I think this is really huge, he saved the country from famine. Genesis 50:26, Joseph dies. Now, after Joseph dies, we are now going to the book of Exodus. Now remember, the theme here is Egypt. We're not getting into every portion of biblical history. We're highlighting Egypt, all right? So, after the death of Joseph, the new king in Egypt knew not the works of Joseph or the legend of his family. So the new king in Egypt did not have any reverence for Joseph. And what happened after that? He started oppressing the Israelites. In addition to oppressing, and this is another thing that we're going to be hitting on throughout a few different stories in scripture, okay? And we're just going to call this the massacre of the innocents to kill newborn sons, okay? So, not only did the new king in Egypt have no love for Joseph, he had no love for Joseph's family, he also wanted to kill all newborn sons who are Israelites. So, and this is a story that we've heard before. Now, I don't know, you don't just hear it, because you're going to hear this story twice in the Exodus, okay? You're going to hear it once, where the Pharaoh commands, or the king of Egypt commands all the midwives to kill all of the Hebrew boys, but the girls can live, okay? The whole point was, it was a population control thing. The king of Egypt was looking to diminish the Israelite numbers, all right?
See? What is it about, y'all? Numbers. I told you. It won't sterilize us, bro. Niggas hitting everything moving. Niggas out here running wild, son. You niggas out here running wild, B. Nigga, all the women want you. Nigga, everybody else getting it, bro. Nigga, your ass is a high commodity. Right here, right here. The only way you want some population control is when you niggas start getting out of control. Now, They want to control what you do. The women, y'all good. Here, take this little change. Get them niggas out the house. Damn.
But the theme of killing firstborn sons is something that we're going to see throughout the Bible, throughout Scripture. This is something that we actually saw before the story of Abraham. Okay, so in the beginning of Genesis, between Abraham and Isaac, or between Terah and Isaac and Abraham and Jacob, we see that there is a theme that people want to kill firstborn sons.
That's right.
Of certain nations, of certain people.
That's right.
Now, in many ways, I think there's probably a lot of prophecy tied into it.
Yes.
And they're probably using astrological, signs in the skies to determine there's a new star in the east when somebody's...
Bro, I just told you this. And don't ask me if I'm a firstborn. Don't even go there. You know my life's so lucky. You know the answer to that one.
Born today, blah, blah, blah. We've seen that before. We saw it with Abraham, and of course, we heard it somewhere else also.
That's right.
So these are themes that we
lucky
see
to be
throughout
here.
the Bible. This is something that we're going to see again. Okay? So I just wanted to put that on the paper. Now, we're going to get into, before I'm going to clean off the board, then we're going to get into Exodus here. We'll get into the Exodus, and then we're going to start getting into Chronicles, and then we're going to start getting into some of the prophets, okay? So right now, I just wanted to kind of get the story of Egypt leading up into the Exodus, okay? So, long story short, they didn't fuck with the Israelites. Long story short, the king knew not the works of Joseph. He didn't know that Joseph saved the whole entire country from famine. He doesn't care. Let's see here. Yeah, Exodus is right there in Exodus chapter 1. Exodus 1:13 says he began oppressing the children of Israel under rigorous bondage. Okay? So when we get back to here, we're gonna come back and we're gonna come to the rise of Moses. All right. So go ahead and take these notes here. When we get back, we'll be in the middle of the Exodus at the rise of Moses, and we'll be, for those of you who saw the Exodus in America video, this is going to tie along a lot with that information. But if you did see that video, then you understand a lot more deeply the Exodus route. So what I did in the Exodus in America video is I took all of the information about the Exodus during that time period, and I basically extrapolated everything from dates to time travel, how far they traveled, and where could they actually have traveled from based upon the information that we have in the book. So, and that'll be interesting because I think these travel rates and speeds are major. Okay. So if, for example, if it takes Ezra 5 months to travel between Jerusalem and Babylon, then the implication there is there's probably at least 1,500 to 2,000 miles, if not more, in between. Okay. Now we know that the current location of Jerusalem and Babylon is approximately the distance from Atlanta to New York, which on foot would take about no longer than 2 weeks, give or take. And then what you start finding out is that the Exodus was 2 million people. So how could the Exodus with 2 million people travel faster than Ezra? Ezra didn't travel by himself. He had some families with him, but he didn't have 2 million people with him. So these are all gargantuan holes in their proposed theories. And we're just now getting to the part where we can start to pick this stuff up and decipher the bullshit. So anyway, go ahead and take these notes. And when we come back, we'll be more, we'll take a more detailed look at the Exodus. And then we're going to be off the Exodus because I've gone over the Exodus before, but the Exodus is up out of Egypt. Once again, and we'll be playing with these themes again. Once again, here's what we're going to see. Again, as a theme in Egypt, we're going to see how, once again, the Israelites are being oppressed in Egypt. And then the Exodus does what? What happens during the Exodus? And so we're still what? We're still riding the same theme of you're going down into it and up out of it. All right? Take the notes.
Since Homo sapiens are the same all over the world, obviously when we face the same problems, we will come up with the same answers.
To get the same answer in 4 parallel streams makes it, to me, seems very unlikely. It's hard to imagine that the Incas went anywhere near Egypt. I find that a bit hard to believe.
I find you motherfuckers hard to believe.
I like this guy. I like this guy.
If all these sites were built at different times, they can't have been built by the same people. But monuments can't be dated. Only the organic remains found nearby.
That's exactly how I be
So
feeling
did
like.
the Incas really build Machu
What's so
Picchu?
funny about that one?
Did the Egyptians really build the pyramids?
Okay, we are back. So now we're at the Exodus. The story is the Israelites are being oppressed in Egypt, and something has to be done. And it seems as though God and or some angel is revealed to Moses. Okay, so at this point, this is when he makes the request of Pharaoh to let my people go. Now, of course, Pharaoh does not hearken or listen to Moses, and then you have a string of events that takes place throughout Exodus, probably some of the more popular stories that you've heard about the plagues. And so Moses, at this point, leads the Israelites out of Egypt. And, of course, they're about to cross the Red Sea. The Pharaoh actually changes his mind and starts to pursue. They get to one side of the sea. Pharaoh pursues into the sea, and the sea takes up the entire Egyptian army as they're pursuing after the Israelites. So from that point on, historically, Egypt's role becomes dramatically diminished. All right? So at this point, at the point that the Pharaoh's guard is drowned in the Red Sea, the role of Egypt has greatly diminished from what it once was. Remember, it used to be the place with the most food, the place of refuge, the place where people who were broke, tired, sick, and hungry, they went to Egypt. Sounds like a place that I'm thinking of that exists today.
You need some
So,
EBT?
After the death of Moses, if you guys remember, Moses
Want some food
dies
stamp?
as he's trying to lead
Come
the
on.
children into the land of Canaan.
Come on, cuz.
But Moses, basically, he was the best military commander in the history of the Israelites. But he wasn't completely faithful, and I forget exactly what happened, but he smited the rock, and when the water wouldn't come out, so those were called the waters of contention. And that is when the faith in Moses got tested. And this, there's many themes in this story, but I think it's a major theme. The fact that Moses is probably one of the most righteous and definitely one of the most heralded characters and figures from the biblical past. Even he didn't get to make it over into Canaan. He didn't actually get to see the promised land. He actually saw the promised land. He didn't get to be in the promised land. Which, you know, I think
Makes
is,
sense.
I think there's something in that story, just for the fact that that small lack of faith that he had. Now, was it because Moses had the lack of faith that he wasn't able to see, or was it because he lacked faith in front of the other Israelites? I've often wondered that. If Moses in his mind goes through something where he wants the water to come out of the rock rather than, you know, being outwardly frustrated, would inward frustration also result in the same punishment of not being able to see the land? I've often wondered about that. Is it just being able to control your mind or your actions? And anyway, that's more of a philosophical question.
That's a hell
as
of a
to
question.
why Moses was punished. Was it the thought, or was it the action that actually caused the punishment? So getting back, so after the death of Moses, Joshua takes over. So if you remember the story of Joshua and Caleb, These were the
Good
two
question.
spies that spied on the land of Canaan. They were the only ones who brought back positive reports. All of the other spies, 10 of the 12 spies, were some bitch ass niggas. And eventually that entire generation had to die in the wilderness.
Yes.
So at that time, we've got Joshua, son of Nun, and Caleb. Okay. So I'm sure Caleb is in a leadership role. But we're specifically talking about Joshua and the book of Joshua, what comes after Exodus. So after Moses' death, Joshua is the main commander at this time. Also, there seems to be a theme that kind of gets lost in much of this. These are war stories, okay? Just as much as these guys were men, it seems as though there's some sort of military commander and or general, okay? So these aren't just people walking around and saying, hey, let my people go. When you read the book, you'll notice that there are wars. And it's really interesting because there's no play-by-play.
They'll mess your
anything
head
It
all
says,
the way up.
Well, there is a little bit of play-by-play, but he'll say, we went over here, we utterly smited them niggas, and we over here, and they utterly smited them dudes. So, I don't even know if they use the word utterly, but some cats got smited. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So what happened is Josh, and it says in Joshua 3:10, without fail, that he was gonna drive out the Canaanites, the Hivites, the Perizzites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, and the Jebusites. And it doesn't mention the Egyptians. So I often thought this was interesting here. So it says without fail in Joshua 3:10 that he's going to drive out all of these nations, but specifically it does not mention the Egyptians, at least not driven from the land in Joshua 3:10. Now, you'll go back into later, if you go back into later chapters of Joshua. So in Joshua 3:10, it'll say that he'll drive out these people, contrasted. It'll say that he will drive out these nations without fail. However, other nations still dwell unto this day. So, obviously, the truth is somewhere between those 2 points. And that's something that we can look at if we know that he drove. It says that without fail, he drove out many nations, and then Joshua 3:10 names the nations. Okay? Hivites, Perizzites, Girgashites, Amorites, and Jebusites, but not Egyptians. Very interesting. Now, I'm trying to figure out if he drove out all of these other nations, how can they still dwell unto this day? So maybe it is a sense of maybe he just annexed the lands that belonged to the other nations, or maybe he took over those territories where he took over lands but not necessarily the people of the lands, where it's like, hey, this is our land now, but you can stay here.
Boom.
Type thing. We're still need.
You don't got to. That's why Kev Gills is here. That's why it is there. He asking questions that we study. Y'all see that? He's still trying to figure it out. Press 1. He's trying to relate how and what that means. These are things that's plaguing his mind. And look at that. Something that we say all the time. Of course. The land, they became the landlords. Oh yeah, you can live here for rent. Oh yeah, go. Boom. I told you. That's why communication with individuals is key. We sitting here all this time in the back skirts of these YouTube streets. In a dark classroom with the light on. We'll leave the light on for you. We got class in the morning. They wasn't here when I was shooting in the gym. Press 1. See? They don't be here when you shooting in the gym. When you ready to score 81. See? Boom. And you know it. Damn.
We still really need some clarity to the context of everyone being driven out, because we know everybody wasn't driven out. Okay,
We
they still
wasn't.
dwell in the lands until this day.
A living
but
word.
Even the
A
idea is
living
that
word.
everybody was supposed to be driven off the land. Now remember that the land of
your
Canaan.
ass is something. Your ass is living a prophecy they ain't never see. Your life is a parable in the scripture. Fool. I'm on my Dick Gregory right now. Fool. Stupid. You better wake up. Your life, what they trying to figure out about that scripture, you living it. Because that's a living word. That's what's going on right now. Driven out mean driven out. Not in your case. Not in your case. You're trying to figure out a parable. You fit every prophecy in that book. You, our people. Ain't no other nation on this earth fit this prophecy of the book. That's like your family tree. Yeah, bro.
Was just had borders, but then as it says in, what is this? It says in Joshua, it says in Joshua chapter 11 verse 23, it says that he took the entire land, or took the whole land, and gave it as an inheritance to Israel, which means there's a chance that he just took all the land, no matter who it belonged to. So there are a couple of things that we really need to try to work out in terms of what it's actually saying versus what we're reading. But I also wanted to hit this point here. Joshua takes Goshen. All right. So this is major here. So it says he drove out all of these nations. He did not drive out the Egyptians as is written in Joshua 3:10. But I think it's huge. It says that he took Goshen. All right. And we know that Goshen is what? Egypt, right? Goshen was the part of Egypt that was supposedly attributed to the house of Ramses, and also attributed to where Joseph had land. And if I'm not mistaken, Goshen was supposed to be the best of the land. And I can't remember what verse it is, but it actually said that not historically, but in the Bible, it said that the land's a desert now, but it used to be well watered. Okay. I can't remember if it comes up during this. Of course, I'll bring it up. But what I wanted to say here is we know that Joshua took Goshen, and we know Goshen is part of Egypt. All right. So these are things. He took a whole. And here's the thing. He took a ton of lands. Okay. If you read Joshua, he took everything. Okay. He took it all. But these are the reason I really like Goshen is because we know it's Egypt. We can make a clear parallel. We can make a clear connection between Goshen and Egypt. Okay. So now that Joshua's taken all these territories, of course, this is the theme also. You know, we're talking about themes. There are multiple themes, right? So we've talked about going down into Egypt, being broke when you're in Egypt. The next thing you know, you're coming out of Egypt with money. You know what I'm saying? Everything, the Israelites were downtrodden into Egypt. They come up out of Egypt. But just like this, after the death of Joshua, the children went back to their evil ways. So
fresh out of jail, like hell, California dreaming. Soon as I step on the scene, I'm hearing hoochie screaming, feeding for money and alcohol, the life of a West Side. Listen, what I'm saying is all prophetic. Nigga, you can make it there. You know what I'm saying? Meaning you can come up not having nothing.
Another cyclical theme throughout biblical history is that the people just can't stay righteous for any elongated span of time. It seems as soon as there's any sort of peace in the nation, then it doesn't last too long. It seems as though after they get out of the oppression, they get it together for a little bit, but it doesn't last long. So in this case, after the death of Joshua, the children went back to their whorish ways. So once again, this is another reoccurring theme. So this is really what you get left with, and this is in Judges. So this is after the death of Joshua. Judges is the next book. So at this point, like I said, Egypt has a diminished role, and we can actually see, like in a straight line parallel, that we can see Joshua actually controls Goshen and plenty of other territories that used to be considered Egypt. We don't know if he has controlled the entirety of Egypt, but it does say that he took the whole land in 1123. So I'm not quite sure exactly what that means, but what we know is from this point on, the kingdom starts to descend a little bit. Now we're looking at the days of the United Kingdom, and you would think that, hey, these are supposed to be the good days, but everybody knows there was a lot of war and there's just a hot mess in these years here. And, Solomon got to build the temple. David didn't get to build the temple. And then after Solomon and his children take over, of course, that's when the kingdom becomes divided again. So during the divided kingdom is really when Egypt comes back as a player against the children of Israel. So go ahead and take these notes. All right, so after Solomon, of course, after the days of Solomon, this is where the king becomes divided again, okay? And once the kingdom is divided, of course it falls.
Because the kingdom divided upon itself.
Together we stand, divided we fall. Right? It's how biblical it is. So there are generations to where you had the rulers of Israel and the rulers of Judah. Okay? And so these were divisions of the kingdom. All right? And so during this time, this is really when the nation descended into chaos and ultimately lost control again. Yes. So although the United Kingdom starts, it starts in the days of Saul. It finishes in the days of Jehoiachin and Jehoiakim and Jehoiahaz and Zedekiah. Okay? So we're going to be talking about that, and mainly this is going to be a result of Josiah's decision. Okay? Okay, as stated, the divided kingdom falls, all right? So why did the kingdom fall? Well, there are a ton of reasons that we don't even really have to get into because we're not talking about the kingdom, we're talking about Egypt. But in Chronicles 35, and specifically in 2 Chronicles 35, 20 through 24, 2 Chronicles 35, 20 through 24, we want to talk about Josiah for a second, okay? So Josiah decided that he wanted to go to war against Necho II, king of Egypt. Now, as written, Necho says, "Your God is with me." In other words, Necho the Egyptian king says, "Your God is with me, and that you shouldn't stand in my way during this war, and/or you should probably just help me out." Something to that effect. Okay, I guess you can read all about it, but it's king of Egypt, Necho II. All right. So what did Josiah do? Josiah decided to deceive the king, and ultimately that, more or less ended with the fall of the kingdom. Chronicles 36, 1 through 7. Jehoahaz was 23 years old when he was named king, but Necho made Eliakim, who was 25 years old, king after 3 months and changed his name to Jehoiakim. Jehoiakim did evil in the sight of the Lord and was bound by Nebuchadnezzar and promoted Jehoiachin, who reigned in his stead and also did evil. So, a couple of things to reconcile here. We know that the kingdom ended with Josiah, when Josiah went against Necho II. All right? Now, the people named Jehoahaz, the 23-year-old king. But Necho made Eliakim, the 25-year-old king, after 3 months and changed his name to Jehoiakim. And Jehoiakim did evil in the sight of the Lord and was bound by Nebuchadnezzar and promoted Joachim, who was 8 years old, who reigned and also did evil. So you're not too young to do evil, apparently. Well, I'm sure Jehoiachin was doing evil after the age of 8, but also did evil. So from this point on, the kingdom has fallen again, all right? So I just want you guys to understand something. After the kingdom is united, and then after Solomon, it becomes divided, and then there's a lot of infighting with the kingdom and other nations set upon the kingdom, and the kingdom pretty much set upon itself, all right? Josiah decides that he's not going to listen to the king of Egypt who says, your God is with me. He deceives the king. As a result, he ends up dying through his ill will. And then the line of succession comes. And the line of succession ends with Jehoiachin, who reigned in Jehoiakim's stead. And so what we're going to do now we have the fall of the kingdom, all right? We've got a lot of stories that are being intermingled together. We've got a lot of different accounts. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get out of the historical part and we're going to get into prophecy, which is really some of my favorite stuff, because now we get to be a little more abstract as we're trying to decipher certain things. But it's like we approach things abstractly, but it's very encouraging that you approach something abstractly, but then by the time you're done researching, it comes to a definitive point. And that's something that we're going to see here. So what we're going to be doing is we're now going to be looking, especially at prophecy.
That's real. You, like I said earlier, you got to think of it like in third person. But he said, you're going to get to the definitive, and you're going to realize that you ain't going to have no other choice, but you're going to be in there. That's the definitive. You are going to find out that you're in there, that you're in the book.
See, we're going to be highlighting Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Isaiah, and Daniel. So now that we have the history kind of caught up upon until the time that the kingdom falls in Chronicles, okay? And this is after Josiah, all right? This is long after the United Kingdom. This is long after the kingdom has been fighting. Now we're to the point just before Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, all right? So it's kind of, even reading about Nebuchadnezzar is a lot different than what we think about Nebuchadnezzar. So we're going to be looking at that as well, just in terms of what, sometimes biblically it seems as though through messages of other people that they present someone in a light that may not necessarily be a realistic light. Right. I'm not saying Nebuchadnezzar was good, obviously not. But I think in terms of how we should look at him, it's probably somebody who's not as evil as maybe somebody thinks they are, even though he is pretty freaking evil. He also, for lack of a better word, he also elevated Daniel to the point of prophecy. And if it wasn't for Nebuchadnezzar's dreams and Daniel's prophecies, we probably wouldn't have a lot of the answers to things moving forward like we do now. So, many times things just happen for a reason. Yeah. And so the cool thing is now we're going to get into the prophecy. So we're going to be looking at prophecies in Daniel. We're going to be looking at prophecies in Ezekiel. We're going to be looking at prophecies in Isaiah. And we're going to be paralleling them with things that have happened in history. So right now, and here's the thing. When we get into prophecy, this is like established history that's kind of already covered, all right? Once we start getting into prophecy, this is kind of like the gray area where things, you have the script hasn't been written, okay? They're giving you an outline, and now you have to write the script. So that's gonna be pretty fun. So coming up next is prophecy. Cool?
Oh,
Take the notes.
you got it. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. And guess what? Guess what? Yeah, I guess we can get into that first thing in the morning. I don't know what y'all doing, but you feel me? Tomorrow morning is gonna be great because if you on my Discord, I'm gonna put it on tonight so y'all have some notes for tomorrow morning. You feel me? But I did want to bring it to the front of the classroom. I want everybody out there to hit that like button. This is on some other shit. I love every bit of it. You feel me? This is on some whole other shit, y'all. So if y'all on my Discord, we gonna watch more and more and more, just so y'all be up to date on what it is. So Coffee and Kush TV. I see y'all first thing in the morning. Holla at your boy, family.